Hey guys, this is Devin with Devin's Dog Days, and today I am going to be giving my poor crusty poodle a bath. But before I got that started, I thought it'd be a great opportunity to share a quick video about shaving the face of the poodle and how it's very easy and can be quickly done, and just a few things that I like to do myself that are a personal preference and maybe they'll resonate with you. Before I get started though, I do want to remind everybody that if you want to support this channel, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, any of those things. And if you are in the need for any amazing Artero products, when you check out, use coupon code DF246 at checkout for 10% off of your entire order. As well, you can also go over to groomhouse.com, which has amazing grooming tutorials and videos, including one that I did myself with Jack in a adorable pet trim with a round face before we went back to our poodle face. So go ahead and subscribe over there, and that is another way that you can support this channel. So without further ado, here we go. So Jack is very used to getting his face shaved with a 40. A lot of times when you've got dogs that either do grooming competitions or show, that's what we use. And if their skin is used to it and they get it frequently, it does not cause any irritation. But when I'm grooming poodles in the salon, I generally don't go shorter than a 15 unless asked. And a lot of times if I'm working on a white or lighter colored poodle like apricot or even red sometimes, I definitely would not go shorter than a 15 and sometimes won't go shorter than a 10. It really depends on the dog and depends on what the owner is looking for and just being mindful of how frequently they're in and if their skin is used to it. So always keep that in mind. So before I get started, I personally like to clip my dog's faces before I bathe them. This way it also just is an extra way to prevent any skin irritation, and then also it just really helps get it clean. So here we go. Ooh, puppy. So like I said, on him, I set it to a 40. I start at the top corner of the ear and I clip all the way forward to the corner of the eye. It's a nice level plane here, so it's very easy. Just do a straight line, right moving forward. And then his eyes tend to curl in, so what I do is I will just tug the skin down a little bit and go right over the eye gently. I'm just skimming over it, being mindful to be careful. And that cleans that up. And then from the corner of the eye, right down the nose. And I personally like to just go level right over the nose. Some people like to do an inverted V here. It's all personal preference. It could be the owner. Sometimes they have a cowlick, and you have to do that or else the hair will grow back into the eye. So it really has to do with the preference of the owners, you and the dog. So now that I've got that line set, I'm going to go ahead and draw my other line from the bottom corner of the ear down to 2 fingers above the breastbone. If I were working with a toy poodle, sometimes I would just use 1 finger, and if I'm working with a standard, sometimes 2 to 3, depending on how it looks. You can always customize this, but those are generally the safe bets. That way you don't dip into that little pocket right above the breastbone and create a divot there, and you can have a really nice transition from your clipper work into your chest. So right there, a little bit further. And then from there, it's just filling in those lines that you've created. Personal preference is if you like to do a V or a U. A lot of times I don't always sweat it because I end up blending these areas. And so I blend them really nice and tight, and half the time it's almost like you can't really see the transition. I personally like to go for a V shape, but sometimes you have dogs, like as Jack has gotten older, his neck has gotten a bit wider, set into his shoulders. He's just getting older, getting a little some extra weight to him. And so we generally end up with a U shape anyways, but I really just personally love a good sharp V. So after that, pretty much, it's just filling in those blanks. So going over it again in real time, upper corner of the ear, corner of the eye. Not worrying too much about getting everything perfect, just trying to get the bulk of the hair off, like I said, before the bath. Corner of the eye, down to the nose, corner of the ear, and this time it's easier because you can just go right down to the line you've already made. And then just taking off everything else right off the muzzle. Now, one other little tip that I can give you is when you get to this area right here, what we commonly refer to as the flue, just tug the skin back with your thumb to make sure it's good and secure so that the lip is safe. And then you'll be able to get right in that pocket safely and clip all that hair out that gets all nasty and stained and holds onto food. And then you're good to go. And then you just finish up. And sometimes you want to check your lips too. Lift your lip up, because you'll get hairs that curl around or what have you, and you don't want to have any of those silly hairs that you send them home and then their owners are like, you missed one. Whatsoever, what everybody wants to hear. And again, just lightly tugging the skin just to keep it taut, and that makes it even easier to just go right over. Pops that hair right out for you. Good boy. And then I'll usually just go right over the muzzle to be safe, and a little in reverse. And you never really want to dig into the skin. You always want to try and keep your clippers level to the dog's skin. And there you go. That is how I shave my butt faces. I'm going to come back after the bath and just show you guys how I cleaned it up. How I like to blend this area in after it's clippered, but that is the basics of how I like to do my poodle faces. So time for bath, buddy. Alrighty guys, so we are all done with our bath, and I'm just going to go ahead and go back over my clipper work real quick to make sure that I've got everything done exactly as I want it, and it's looking really nice and clean. And so as I said, it's set to a 40 with Jack. He is very much used to that. On dogs that I do, pets that I do in my salon, a lot of times I usually use a 10 or a 15 most often. Sometimes I'll go down to a 30 if the pet is used to it and they're in frequently enough that their skin is okay with it. And so I'm just really going right back over everything that I already did just to make sure that I didn't miss any like crazy hairs or anything like that. Making sure that my lines are all clean the way that I want them. Top corner of the ear to the corner of the eye. Tugging the skin anywhere if I need to make some space to be able to get my clippers in, and making sure that I keep my clippers flat to the skin. Tugging back to make sure that I got everything out of the flue. See a little hair on that lip there. Sorry, I touched his tooth. That's gotta feel weird. Alright. Right level across the top of those eyes. That's how I like it on him. All right. And then one little extra step that I like to do to go the extra mile, especially with my clients, is I like to, one, trim the hair out of their eyes, you know, trim up their visor a little bit, their top knot, just to make sure that they can see. I usually like to use my L43s for this because it leaves it looking kind of natural. I'm not really doing too much. I'm just trying to get rid of anything that's kind of hanging in the way and making it hard for him to see. I'm not, you know, this isn't something that's a full groom. It's just something that I include in my baths because I personally believe that it helps keep the dogs clean and happy in between. And that's what we're doing. And then personal preference, because I hate having these really sharp lines here, I like to also blend those, but take off some of that extra hair. It just looks better, makes them look a bit more finished, smoother, and yeah, makes my eyes happy, which I know it makes my clients happy too. Handsome boy. And that is how I do my poodle faces. So thanks guys for watching. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Stay tuned for all of our other videos that we're going to be coming out with.